Alright YouTube, so I kind of wanted to talk about this recent drama with Ethan from H3H3, this whole bullshit about him being transphobic. As with most of my videos, this was not actually planned. I had something else I was planning on recording today, but as I was about to get in the recording process, they actually uploaded a video to H3H3 saying, "Apologies if you were offended." Now, a few days ago when this actually went down, I'd heard about it. I'd seen like the tweet that he mentions in the video where some chick quoted the tweet and just said, H3H3 is transphobic, and had it like 7 or 8 times or something like that. I'd seen that shit a couple of days ago. Didn't really think it was even worth talking about or anything. It was like, what the fuck ever. Obviously, Ethan is not transphobic. Get the fuck out of here with your SJW bullshit, you fucking snowflake. But the fact that they actually felt the need to make a video about it and actually address the situation, that's when I was like, man, maybe it is actually time to talk about it. Yes, he has said some fucked up things in the past. People have called him a bigot for a while. He's dropped the N-word a bunch of times on podcasts with iDubbbz and other things like that. People got super upset. I get that. I understand that. But if you're not in the periphery of his content, if you're not somebody who just occasionally watches him, if you actually pay attention to a lot of the content he produces, he's actually a pretty cool guy, a pretty nice guy, actually, pretty humble dude. If you actually watch his podcast, sometimes it gets a little dark. He'll say some offensive things, but that's what it is when you're a comedian, dude. Sometimes that's your comedic style, dude. I have a very dark sense of humor. If you guys have been around for a while, maybe I've dropped some dark jokes here and there on the channel. I don't know if I've really gone that far. When I'm alone, when it's me and my boys, we're out fucking drinking or whatever, having a party, it gets dark. We say some fucked up things. Shit that I'd probably never actually say on this channel. But he said stuff that dark before during his podcast or whatever. So, like, if people take that shit seriously and they don't understand that that's comedy. That's just a style of comedy. To say the most edgy fucking thing you could think of for the shock value. Anyways, back on topic. This all stems from one tweet that he dropped a couple of days ago. Well, actually, it was almost 2 weeks ago, but anyways, he just tweeted out and said, "My dick just touched the inside of the toilet bowl. There's no other solution. I'm cutting my dick off." Now, that's a tweet that was going around with the whole H3H3 is transphobic thing that I'd seen forever, and I just didn't understand it. I wasn't exactly sure what the fuck the person was talking about, but it's actually a reply he did to the tweet itself. He had actually replied to the previous tweet and said, "I'm Ellen now, call me Ellen." I guess because obviously he's cutting his dick off, as for the joke or whatever, so he would no longer be a man is the point of the joke. And that's it. 2 fucking simple tweets. Really just one tweet, I suppose. And all of a sudden, H3H3 is 100% a goddamn transphobic person. Like, get the hell out of here, dude. I'm so sick of the shit. We have ranted and bitched about these fucking SJWs, these snowflakes. Snowflake's a new word. I don't know why I'm using it all of a sudden. That's twice I've used in this video. I've never even used them in a video before. Anyways, these like people who get offended by shit so goddamn easily. I'm so tired of it, dude. We've been bitching about them for like a year or 2 now on this channel. It is getting so fucking old for these people to get offended so easily. Like, I don't even know how you derive the fact that he's transphobic from those simple jokes he made on Twitter. Like, you literally can't joke about anything these days, man. The joke is that he's cutting his dick off. So he's no longer a man, so he gave himself a woman named Ellen. Sounds kind of like Ethan, I suppose. And that's literally it. That's all it is. And somehow it just spiraled into this dumb bullshit. And it's kind of become a thing recently. I don't know what it is, because Ethan's been big for a while. To like kind of hate on him. Like, I see it all the time on like mainly just Facebook. I don't really like scroll through Twitter a lot. I'm on Facebook more than I am Twitter, to be honest. And I see a lot of people hate on Ethan and Neela and like H3H3 not being that funny or not being cool or the thing anymore. And I don't know what that is. And I think that could maybe be what this is. I don't know exactly. Anyways, he starts off the apology video with kind of a story talking about a guy being like OCD, being essentially like a germaphobe. Dick touches the inside of a toilet bowl, so he decides to cut it off. I don't know if he's talking about himself. I can't actually recall if he's ever talked about being a germaphobe in any of his videos or podcasts or anything like that, but that's where the joke derives from, essentially. And if he is talking about himself, it kind of makes sense, right? If I was a germaphobe and my dick touched the inside of, like, a public toilet bowl, even the one in my house, I'd probably be pretty freaked out.
Well, one day, in a public bathroom, that his dick happened to touch the inside of the toilet bowl. That's just life, okay? But for this guy with OCD, he couldn't handle it. He had to cut it off and restart his life as a woman.
So after rewatching it, I do think that this did actually happen to him. With him throwing the me text on screen at certain points through the intro, I do think he's probably in the public bathroom somewhere, taking his shit. His dick touched the inside of a toilet bowl. It freaked him out. He probably just decided to make a joke tweet about it, and that was it. That's all this ever was. And I gotta say, if his dick can touch the inside of a toilet bowl, he's probably got a big dick. I think that's the most important thing we need to take away from this story here, is that Ethan has a hog down there. I can barely touch the toilet seat. Ethan's over here dropping his dick in the water. From there, the apology video just kind of goes on to discuss the topic as a whole, kind of address what happened, the tweets and everything, the person who quoted the tweet with the H3H3 is transphobic. Nothing we really need to talk about. We've already kind of talked about it ourselves anyway. From here, he actually goes on to make a pretty good point that I've maybe heard before, I don't entirely know, but it sounded good when I first heard it in his video, where he says that just because you are offended by a joke, it doesn't make the joke inherently offensive.
Now, I'm just going to say this for the first time, and I'll keep repeating it, but just because you were offended by a joke doesn't mean that the joke was inherently offensive.
And I think that this is a fantastic point that isn't talked about enough, man. Just because you are offended by something doesn't actually mean that it was offensive. Like, if he said something, I don't know, oh, I'm going to go stomp on a bunch of puppies. Like, okay, now you're just being stupid and offensive for the sake of being offensive. You're not actually being funny. There's no joke there. You're just saying stupid shit. He was being funny. I think a lot of people found it funny. I found it funny when I first read it. When I first seen the second part, too, when he's like, I'm going to call myself Ella now because my dick's off. I get the joke. I understand the joke. You're no longer a man. You're now a woman because you don't have the male genitalia. I get the fucking joke. Comedy is subjective, as are most things, so just because you don't find it funny or you think it is offensive doesn't mean that it's not funny or that it is actually offensive. And this wasn't even a dark or like an edgy joke or anything. He was just making a simple joke. His dick touched, he got fucking toilet residue on the tip of his dick now because it touched the inside of a toilet bowl, so now he wants to cut it off. And now, oh, well, I don't have a dick, so I'm a woman now. Let's call myself Ellen. That's all the joke is, man. I've pointed out the simplicity of the joke a few times now, but it's necessary, man, because it's so stupid how offended people are.
Maybe I'm being obtuse. Maybe I'm being transphobic. I don't know, but I don't feel like I am, and that's what's so frustrating. Can somebody tell me what was so offensive about what I said that set off people to be so angry at me?
I also think that this is another great point because I actually don't understand what's supposed to be offensive about this either. Like, he didn't say anything negative about trans people or anybody from the LGBT community, so I don't understand where the transphobic thing comes from exactly, because he didn't say, like, oh, I sure don't like those trans people. All he said was, of course, that his dick's I hate repeating the joke, but he said his dick's off, so his name's Ella now. Like, where does the transphobia come in anywhere amongst those two tweets? Because I don't fucking see it. He goes on to make another good point, and at this point it sounds like I'm fanboying over him because I'm agreeing with everything he says, but he points out that saying we can't make fun of certain people is actually somewhat counterproductive because everybody gets made fun of. It's a way of accepting people, so to bitch and moan because a certain group of people are being made fun of, it is a bit counterproductive. And I don't even think he's making fun of anybody because he didn't address trans people specifically.
But what is this person's point? That we can't make fun of trans people? Everybody gets made fun of. That's kind of like, in a way, an acceptance. Where people can joke about you and acknowledge you in that way, it makes you more human. By you pushing back and saying, no, you can't joke about us, it almost is counterproductive for you because we all get made fun of.
And one of my favorite things about this video near the end is where he actually doesn't even apologize for this. Even though it's titled Apologies If You Were Offended, he actually goes on to say if you're looking for an apology, you're not going to get one. And I think that's good because those are always fake. It always feels like damage control to me if somebody does something like a little messed up and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Didn't know how to offend people. I didn't realize the repercussions and all this other bullshit. It always feels fake and not genuine. And it wouldn't be genuine because that's not how he actually feels.
My intention wasn't to be offensive, so can you just accept it on that face value? If you're looking for an apology, you're not going to get it. But hopefully, at least, maybe you can understand where I'm coming from a little bit.
I was very glad to see that because I'm sick of the fake-ass apologies when people fuck up, and I don't think he fucked up here anyways, but I don't think he needed to apologize, and I'm glad that he fucking didn't, because just because you are offended by something, like he said earlier in the video, just because you find something offensive doesn't mean it's inherently offensive. And I like it because you know it's genuine, you know that's actually how he feels. He's already kind of in deep shit, if you want to say that, because of this whole ordeal. So for him to actually be like, you know what, I'm not going to even apologize to you guys, would get him in more shit, but he doesn't actually care. He's actually telling you, you know, I don't think I need to apologize to you guys, and that's good. I've actually talked about this myself a while back, like a year or so ago, when we talked about the too soon argument. I said in that video, because people were kind of giving me shit on Twitter when I was making fun of like a bombing that happened or whatever the case, I was like, I'm never going to apologize for the shit. I know when I say something that is actually offensive, and that when people get offended and like freak out on me, I'm not going to apologize for it because that's kind of the intention. And again, I don't think his intention was to offend anybody here, but if you don't feel like you need to apologize for something, don't fucking do it. Anyways, my dudes, that's the take on the situation. That's what I think's going on. Let me know what your thoughts are below. Do you think H3H3 is transphobic? Do you think it was a harmless fucking joke? Like I think most of us do. I don't think it's that big of a fucking deal. It's crazy that he even had to make an apology video for it, but whatever. That's the world we live in, man. You can't make a joke or say anything at all. No matter what you say, somebody can be offended by it these days. That's just how it is. Hopefully you guys, girls, and transgenders enjoy the video. We're still on the road to 10K. Short-term goal, of course, is like 8,000. We're getting there pretty quickly, I'd say. We're also almost to 2 million channel views. So if you want to help your boy out and let's try to get to 8,000 subscribers, hit that subscribe button if you are new. So let's hit the usual outro. If you want to enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter at @TheDashingDavid. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
And we're living in a society where there's eggshells everywhere. We're all tiptoeing around, and it's fucking stupid. Just because you were offended by a joke doesn't mean that the joke was inherently offensive.